It is the last full moon of the month, or last day of the month, second full moon of the month. So we've got a nice blue moon out there. Check it out. Skies, of course, are clear for it. We're going to see more sunshine today. Very, very dry weather sticking with us. 75 at 9 o'clock. So feeling nice and pleasant through the morning, but by noon you'll be sweating. 83 degrees and then topping out today in the low 90s with more sunshine. Right now, though, it is feeling very nice out. 66 degrees. Winds are out of the north-northeast at about 7, so the winds are nice and light. Of course, we're seeing a lot of sunshine here. We're still tracking what's left of Isaac. I'll have details on that and your Labor Day forecast coming up.
Well, lots of local and national news to bring you this morning. We'll start with our News Blitz.
You can now call him the official Republican nominee for president. We'll have full coverage of Mitt Romney's nomination speech in less than a minute. Is the manhunt over? New details this morning in the search for a man accused of molesting a young teen in about 3 minutes. After that, some sad news to tell you about a little boy who police say was hit by a drunk driver. And later, why was a little boy dropped off at school in handcuffs?
We start out with it being official this morning. Mitt Romney is now the Republican nominee for president. Mr. Romney was in the spotlight at the Republican National Convention last night, where he defended his record, gave an emotional nod to his parents, and vigorously attacked President Obama. Susan McGinnis is in Tampa with more.
Mitt Romney got a standing ovation as he entered the convention hall for the biggest speech of his life.
I am proud to introduce to you the next President of the United States of America, Mitt Romney.
And Romney wasted little time making his nomination official.
I accept your nomination for President of the United States.
He focused on his life, including an emotional nod to his parents.
My mom and dad were true partners. A life lesson that shaped me by everyday example. When my mom ran for the Senate, my dad was there for her every step of the way.
And then he went to work, laying out why he believes he should win in November.
I have a plan to create 12 million new jobs.
And why he thinks President Obama should not win.
You know there's something wrong with the kind of job he's done as president when the best feeling you had was the day you voted for him.
Mitt Romney worked for 6 years to win his party's nomination, and after several days of celebrating that achievement, now the real work begins.
He's trying to unify the party right now.
The delegates on the convention floor say they are excited to go to work for Mitt Romney and Paul Ryan.
I'm anxious to go back home and work on the campaign and make this a reality.
But while the delegates all cheered for Mitt Romney, it was Clint Eastwood's conversation with an empty chair that got the biggest reaction on Twitter. Even President Obama tweeted his reaction. He said, "This chair is taken." In Tampa, Susan McGinnis, KRQE News 13 New this morning.
It is now time for Mitt Romney and Paul Ryan to get back on the campaign trail. They're set to have rallies today in Florida, Virginia, and Ohio. Well, as you can imagine, President Obama's campaign doesn't think too highly of Mitt Romney's speech. The president's campaign manager says, quote, much like the entire Republican convention, Mitt Romney's speech offered many personal attacks and gauzy platitudes, but no tangible ideas to move the country forward. What he did not share were his actual proposals, which would have taken our country backwards. Mitt Romney leaves this convention no stronger than he came. President Obama is bringing his message close to us today with a campaign stop in El Paso, Texas. Well, it looks like the manhunt for a convicted child molester is over this morning. Sources are telling us that investigators caught up with Dante Fawcett last night. He was convicted of molesting a 14-year-old boy, forcing the teen to take nude pictures for him. Fawcett is on probation, and he should be wearing an ankle monitor, but investigators say he cut it off on Wednesday night. Fawcett is the 4th person on probation to cut off one of these tracking devices in the last 2 months, and it had us wondering, why are these monitors so easy to get rid of? Well, the state says they actually have to be.
Medically, if there was a problem, it would have to be able to cut off by a hospital or somebody.
We should learn more about Fawcett getting arrested later today. Now, as for these 3 others who were accused of cutting off their ankle bracelets too, they were all found and arrested once again. Such a sad story this morning. The 2-year-old boy involved in what Albuquerque police are calling a drunk driving crash last weekend is now brain dead and will be taken off life support soon. Vicente Grego's father is telling us that doctors are keeping his son alive right now so they can donate his organs. Vicente was in the backseat of his parents' car early Saturday morning when police say Mariano Salas was drunk and slammed into them on Coors near I-40. Salas was arrested but bonded out of jail this week, something that Vicente's family is not very happy about.
This is not right. Whoever let him go and whoever bonded him out, that's not right because he did something wrong. and he's underage. You shouldn't even be drinking.
The district attorney's office says Salas's charges could be upgraded when the case goes before a grand jury, but for now, he is still out of jail on bond. Vicente Griego's organs will go to 9 other children. His father says that should happen sometime very soon. I-40 in the East Mountains is back open this morning after it was shut down overnight because of a semi that caught fire there. This happened about 10 o'clock, 6 miles west of Edgewood. Investigators say the semi was going west on I-40 when it caught fire. The driver is okay, and investigators have not said why the fire started. A drunk driver who slammed into a car in Santa Fe and killed a 4-year-old girl earlier this year will not go to jail. Instead, Deborah Aaron will spend a year on unsupervised probation and have to take DWI classes. Aaron, who is a surgeon, admits that she was drunk back in January when she got in a crash that killed little Juliana Reyes Vasquez. Prosecutors say they could not prove the crash is Aaron's fault, so they offered her a plea deal instead.
There was really no physical evidence at the scene that would have pointed at one person or another having run the red light, which is the real issue here.
Some people who saw the crash say Juliana's mother ran a red light and caused it, but others say no, the light was green. Little girl's family has now filed a civil lawsuit against Ms. Aaron, saying that she did cause that crash. Later today, a convicted killer is set to find out how long he'll spend in prison. Matthew Benavidez was just 17 when he shot and killed Paul Barker in northeast Albuquerque back in 2010. Investigators say Benavidez, along with Cameron Lucero and Brooke McComb, were driving down Manal firing random shots with an assault rifle. Even though Benavidez was underage at the time, he was charged as an adult and now faces life in prison. Did they go too far? This morning, parents in Artesia are shocked after an 11-year-old boy is dropped off at school in handcuffs. Police say the boy's mother and grandmother called them when the boy refused to go to school recently. Then an officer found the boy hiding on a playground. Investigators say that officer restrained the boy and put him in a police car. Then police say the mother told the officer to, quote, be mean and yell to teach him a lesson and scare him, and then take the boy to Yeso Elementary School in handcuffs. But people who saw this say it certainly was not right.
It was way too far. I mean, we're supposed to be parents, good parents, encourage our kids, be there for them, not to, humiliate them in front of their peers.
The school district is doing its own investigation to find out what happened. Artesia police are not talking about this, saying there's an internal affairs investigation going on right now. A traffic heads up for you this morning. If you can, avoid Eubank between Montgomery and Osuna today in Albuquerque. Tour workers are cleaning up a big water main break. People who live in this area may have low or even no water pressure throughout the day. Workers should have everything fixed up later today.